There you go. 3, 2, 1. What's up, bro?
My brother.
Eh,
And you.
diba? Champ Lui Pio sporting the quarantine haircut. So how does it feel? How does it feel? Teka nga, yun nga, pinag-usapan namin to off-air. Sabi ko, ano nangyari sa inyo dyan? Parang ito nabuwang na. Sabi ko o sige, who's the brainchild behind the whole quarantine? Kasi I saw Cher holding the mirror, di ba? And
I'm just
then
happy it looks decent and I don't regret having the haircut. So merienda here. Ali, our friend, came over. Tapos biglang he brought up na kailan pa kaya ako magpapa-haircut? And then my sister's boyfriend said, hey, I know how to cut hair, but I'm not an expert.
wala na.
But again, by the time this is over, yung buhok mo tumubo na ulit. So,
Tama,
Ali,
tama.
I had my haircut, and next thing you know, my dad, so ang saya niya.
Oo nga sabi ko.
Tempted ako magpakalbo.
Oo, di ba?
Ako
Konti lang.
mag-college.
Di ba? Sabi ko, puta, naggupitan na sila doon. Mahirap tong mga to. Sabi ko, ito yan eh. It all begins with, yung merong nagsabing, yung merong magsasabing, may clipper ako. Yung may magsasabi, may clipper ako, guys.
Kasi pili ka, it's either you grow your beard or you grow your hair during this quarantine period. Kasi one's gonna have decent haircut or a decent, well, you can shave, but yeah, I think all guys are that same frequency.
Oo. Basta, this is the time wherein people are starting to become skilled, self-sustainable beings, di ba? People are cutting their own hair, people are baking, people are cooking a lot, and then everyone
cooking a lot. People are or harnessing or practicing skills they haven't touched or they thought they couldn't do. Because you have so much time now.
Exactly. As in, sabi ko, halos lahat Sabi ko, parang lahat. Kung ano ginagawa ngayon eh. Pero, at least you're doing something productive. Diba? That's the most important part. That's the most, now, we've been talking about having this for a long time now. So, at least now, wala na tayong choice kasi quarantine life. So, we got to.
I'm so happy we're doing this. It's a pleasure. It's a privilege to be here, man. You know, I love you. I'll support you with whatever. But this has been coming, so I'm happy we're doing it, and I'm stoked.
Diba? So, ayun. So, as much as possible din naman kasi, magkukwentuhan po kami, magchichismisan po kami, and then at the same time, we want to extract as much value that we can share to our viewers as always. So, now, Champ is he's one of my friends that's very artistic, and I want, in as much as you can share, like, when Hale started and it wasn't as popular, and you were just like you were setting up everything, how was life, how was the band life, or how was life and the struggles, the challenges leading to the climax or the pinnacle of Hale? Like, eto pa to like noon pa, like college days, diba? Like, how were you able to, you were doing music, you were writing stuff, pero how were you distributing it? Where were you playing? What were the initial, diba, the initial struggles of forming the band, diba? So how was it?
So, a brief background. My dad's a musician, so he taught me how to play the guitar. But growing up, I was very active with sports. I played basketball a lot more than music. So during downtime, I grabbed my guitar. My dad actually forced me to play piano. I took a piano lessons, but I'm too hyperactive for that. So medyo you shouldn't absorb, didn't really excel there. College, I was pretty steady during college. But then college was the time I started really writing serious music. Like serious songs lang. Parang something like more deep, more reflective of
Emotional, more hugot.
where I was back then, or my hope,
Mhm.
aspirations, my dreams. So college was an inflection point for me. And then the thing is, I live in Alabang. I don't know a lot of musicians
Mhm.
back then. Ngayon,
Mhm.
taga South.
Dami na, dami.
Uh, I barely knew anyone who was in a band, or maybe my circle, medyo walang musicians. But it was started after college kasi, um, that's when life, reality, man, starts.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, Everyone was starting, was figuring out what to do. Like, dude, this is the
Mhm.
real world. What do you do now? Diba? So my dad, well, sorry, my aunt in Zamboanga
Mm.
was offering me a job. So yun yung first offer after college to work there.
Mhm.
But then I was like, I have self I have high self awareness, so I was like, nah, it doesn't feel right. My instincts, my intuition, everything was telling me to just wait it out and 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 just explore the great unknown, man, and something will come
Mhm.
up. I just didn't feel like I was meant to back then, like,
Okay.
the city and work work in the province. Although ang ganda ng offer sa akin for a friend,
Oo.
but it didn't feel right. So I was unemployed for a year, was figuring out what to do. My brother Rhoda, our friend, we
Yeah.
were selling stuff sa mga chunk,
Mga
mga
bazaar, flea
man,
market. Oo.
bazaar. So we were doing that on the side. Here in Alabang, my Saturday market, so I was selling some stuff
Mm.
also, just to carry, carry my own weight, and not
Mm.
because syempre at the end of, you want to be independent, you don't want to be a drag. So yun,
Yeah.
for a full year, bro, I was doing that, and then I was so tempted. I applied as a preschool teacher.
Preschool
Dude,
teacher! Oh,
hello. Because back then, medyo, I was doing a summer kindergarten program for
parang mga internship na yan.
so it was something I knew I had the heart to do that.
Uh-huh.
Tapos the universe aligned, man. I got a call from an uncle of mine. Sabi
Mhm.
niya, di ba nag-gigitara ka, kumakanta ka? Kasi meron akong na-discover dito na may gusto ko sana gawing commercial model, pero narinig ko may banda, so pinakilala ko. So, um, I met up with him, and he later on introduced me to my bandmates now, si Roel and si Pao. Pero
Yun yung story.
we started off, we were five, we were six in the band. Walang no name. We all met
Mhm.
our songs, jam. Pumunta ng
Okay.
UST, jam. Tapos sa isang umalis lahat, hanggang natira
Oo.
kami ni Roll. Even Pao back then, that's why I tease him
Oo.
of the prodigal son, kasi he left us for another band. So natira kami ni Roll. But the thing was,
Okay.
kami ni Roll, we really we clicked. Like,
We
um,
click.
from a songwriting standpoint, uh, I loved his songs, and then he appreciated my music as well. So from when everyone left, we decided to pursue with this kahit kami dalawa lang. as long as we had the songs,
Okay.
or if we don't have the bandmates yet, let's work with what we have. So what I did was I borrowed money from my dad, bro. Tapos,
Mm-hmm.
uh, to finance a demo of our songs. Kasi kami dalawa ni
Okay.
Soul. And then, with the help of my dad's friend, we were able to come up with a decent demo.
Demo.
A demo of 5 of our songs. It was the day, Broken Sonnet, Blue
Teka
Sky.
lang.
So when we were recording the demo, 5 songs were forget the fifth one, but it was uh Rose songs and my songs. Tapos while this was all happening while we were looking for bandmates. Um
Okay.
and then my dad was helping us out. He was sending out those demos to different labels. And I got a call from Roel one day. Sabi niya, "Bro, I found a bassist." Tapos sabi pa niya,
Okay.
"Kamukha ni Brandon Boyd." And I'm like, "Okay, perfect. I wanna si Sheldon yun, pare."
Oh, si
So sabi ko,
Sheldon.
game, sige, sige, let's meet up with him. We rented a studio here in the south, met up with Shell, and then he introduced us to our drummer back then, si Omni. And then after a few months, we were gigging. Parang gigs namin before, talagang nightmare, man. Makikiusap ka para masingit. Tapos,
Oo.
sometimes you have to sell tickets or you have
Yeah.
to, yeah, you gotta bring in people to pay. But yeah, that was the grind before. Tapos, they bump you off from your slot. Means we had this like terrible experience na our set was 10 o'clock naging 3 a.m. pare. Tapos by the time we played,
Oh. Wala ng tao.
so we were doing those crappy gigs, but um, it was very essential. Those
Mm-hmm.
gigs na walang nanonood, that was the time to make mistakes. That was the time
Okay.
to improve, to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And after a few months, we got a call from EMI Philippines that
Okay.
that they heard our demo and they wanted to check us live. Eh wala
Okay.
pare. So
Mm-hmm.
nakiusap kami na sino may production dyan, pwede ba kami sumingit kahit 3 songs
Okay.
lang. Luckily
Okay.
we had a gig in Merix, it's along España. And then
Mm-hmm.
got signed. We were doing front acts, and then that's it.
Oh.
Hard work, promote, and just taking lots of chances, taking lots of risks.
Mm. 'Di ba? Kasi ito yan eh. Here's the reason why. I mean, this is gonna be one of the major themes of the podcast or the interviews or the conversations I will have with other successful people is that a lot of people want instant gratification. They think that they put out stuff out there, it has to be a hit or it has to blow up right away. Now, people tend to forget the struggles, that there will be failures, there will be challenges,
Yes.
you have to put in the work talaga. You have to put in the work. It happens. Yeah, now I see and I hear from the music industry, from artists, and then mine as well. Like from my journey in martial arts and business to dealing with people, and people think na this was something that talented ka. I always tell them I'm not talented, I'm not athletic, pero yun nga, I put in the work, di ba? And at
You
least
gotta put
now,
in the work, bro.
di ba? So at least ngayon nakikita ng tao, like people will extract value from this and say that, di ba, nothing good will ever come easy. Diba? Of course, there will be people who are lucky enough or they'll catch a
Yeah.
break diba? Just that quickly. Pero hindi pa rin eh, diba? Even the most viral of things right now, they were doing or they were bombing before that, diba? So all
And
they
I
did
and,
was just execute.
and I feel like whether in anything, whether like what you said in martial arts, sports, music, in any career, man, failure uh, creates creates character. It
Mm-hmm.
creates the necessary experience for you to succeed, because you can't teach experience. You have to go through it, and
Exactly.
going through failure, going through um, obstacles, it polishes you as a person in everything, whether it's in sports, martial arts, or music. Ako, pare, before when I was playing, I could I
Mm.
Kasi
Technology talaga.
some
Biglang
people,
naglalag. Okay.
some
Naglalag siya.
people.
Okay, sorry. Go.
I like what you said, that you're not the most athletic, you're not the most talented, because that's my mentality too, bro. I wasn't born with a perfect pitch. I wasn't born with a stage presence na parang, dude, this is my fucking stage. I own this.
Mm.
As soon as the lights open,
Lights
this is
turn
my
on.
world. I didn't have that. I had to develop that through years of practice, failure, and learning.
Mm-hmm.
So, and sometimes it's actually nice not to be gifted too much, kasi yung drive to learn, the
Mm.
drive to succeed, that becomes your ally, that becomes your asset.
Okay. Diba? And couldn't put it any better. Kasi, ano lang talaga siya, people, and I hope that people will pick up na more than anything, if you want to succeed, you shouldn't be discouraged by failure. You shouldn't be discouraged by
Yeah.
not getting the results that you wanted. Kasi feeling ko a lot of the things that contribute to, yeah, you feeling low, then you become downright depressed or anxious more, is
Yeah.
because yun nga, you tried something, it bombed, and then it starts discourage you. You're not motivated anymore, diba? You're not thinking na it's part of the process, diba? That for every failure or for everything that didn't go right, there are lessons to learn from there that will help you pick up the pieces and be better next time. So at least yun, now if there are people who will say the same narrative, and then now that things are better for them, diba? It only validates that statement. Eh. It only validates that statement. So
Yeah.
from there, of course, Hale blew up like nationwide proportions, and how was, like, looking back, how crazy was it? Diba? How crazy was it from and what do you think was the song? Kasi it was either The Day You Said Goodnight or nakalimutan ko kung anong pang song yun. Pero it kind of put, or was that the song that put the band on the map, kumbaga?
So we our debut single was Broken Sonnet. EMI Philippines put it on a
Ayun, Broken
compile.
Sonnet
Yeah,
pala. Okay.
they decided to put it on a compilation album along with other great senior artists.
Mm-hmm.
And that was our training ground. Uh, we had
Okay.
we were playing front acts for Bamboo, for Sugar Free,
Mm-hmm.
and with that single, we had something to promote and
Okay.
to raise awareness that, hey, we exist, we have this song. And then when we were working on the debut album and released The Day Said Goodnight, yun na pare, that's when everything just happened, like
Happened.
happened so fast. And back then, we we didn't understand the gravity of what was happening. Parang
Mm-hmm.
we were too, in 30 days, in a month, we were probably gigging 20 hindi na ako nakakain,
Mm-hmm.
parang addict pare. Um, uh, the funny part was we we didn't the demand, the schedule that was being
Uh-huh.
given to us. Parang, oh, ito, promote, 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 promote. It wasn't until like after 6 months na my dad started to question, what was happening na parang, you guys are promoting heavily, but I think it's time to make money. Because we were doing a lot of promo gigs, and that's where my dad came in and said, we need to start making money. So, konting
Mm-hmm.
calibration lang. And then, okay naman. Um, ano ba to? Anything, bro. Bar gig, yes. Major tour, yes. TV guest, yes. Yes na yes, man.
Yes, yes, nang yes.
And we were understanding the landscape. Man, I even had this awkward photo shoot. They featured us in a magazine and they made me a freaking angel, bro. Kadiri siya. And you have to understand when you're that young, you don't have a voice yet to say, "Hey, I don't want to do this. I'm uncomfortable," because you
Oh,
don't you're
saka
absorbed.
the hiya factor.
Oh, you're absorbing too much.
Mm.
You don't want to be too uh
Choosy,
parang
di ba? You don't want to
you
be
don't want to
picky.
yeah, you don't want to offend people at the same time, and you just want to trust. You're too naive. You're young, man. Basically, you're young.
Mm.
So first year we were just that. We were kids saying yes to everything. Uh, but I think it did sharpen us. We learned
Mm-hmm.
how to say no. We learned how to put value on our craft kasi before people were undercutting us
Okay.
or alam mo yun, parang ano rin eh. When you're exposed,
There will always be people who will try to take advantage of it, di ba?
yes,
There will always be people who will try to take advantage of you and whatever whatever amount of popularity and or exposure that they could get, di ba? These things will happen. So it's just a matter of you doing your best to be in control of the situation.
and when during the first year of Hale, we were basically friends with everyone
Mm.
until the crab mentality started,
Mm.
and we felt like we were getting alienated by the same people in the
Uh-huh.
scene who were supposedly our friends when we were starting, and then
Uh-huh.
all of a sudden, since we're alam mo yun, nakaangat ka na ng konti,
Nakangat ka.
things change, and you learn how to take care of yourself, you protect yourself, you don't put yourself in a situation where you get take advantage of, or you just anyway, it's not worth your while. Uh,
Exactly.
the process of making your circle smaller starts,
Mm-hmm.
which is again one of my core values right now for success. You gotta learn how to filter, your circle. Same with criticism, same with advice. You gotta learn. You gotta be smart enough when to take in criticism, when to take in advice, or identify which is BS and which is real.
Mm-hmm. Diba? And then what do you think, like, kasi this applies back then, and I really believe that it applies as well today. Na Filipinos will always love songs. Diba? Filipinos are suckers for love songs. Culturally, we're very emotional and sentimental, and I think it's one of the reasons why the band became successful. But what else are the other things that allured you to people? Like what was it? What are the other things that you thought that helped gravitate you towards your fans? Kasi there are a lot of people who did love songs, di ba? Pero hindi. The magnitude of it couldn't be the exposure, it couldn't be the machinery behind it, di ba? There was something, di ba? So what do you think from an artistic vantage point, how was relaying the message or the stories behind the songs, how were they able to touch the people or the fans that made them relatable, diba?
Uh, okay, so I think with the songwriting, Um, there was because most of the songs we wrote, it was pre fame. So the song
Mm.
a crush in college or a heartbreak or a dream, a hope, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there wasn't any external force forces
Mm-hmm.
affecting your writing, and I think that that's very important because it gets harder because as you get older, as you get more successful, if you will. Um, it's hard. You become more critical of your work.
Mm-hmm.
You're not exposed to um, stuff. You just write whatever, and the
Mm-hmm.
purity of that. Parang you're less critical of yourself. You're less
Mm-hmm.
jaded. You're less cynical. So
Uh-huh.
the songwriting was just pure. It was just genuine. It was honest. It it's life, and like what you said, love is universal. Pinoy's love songs and music more
Mm.
than and aside from love songs, music is part of our DNA, along with fighting, along with MMA.
Mm.
So and I think we were just the new kids on the block who had a fresh aura,
A fresh approach on things, di
fresh
ba?
approach because bands back then, the bands before us, they were pretty awesome and they had their own thing, long hair, grunge, rock and roll. We had a different take on
Parang
our
different
music, on our
flavor kayo
style.
nun eh. Oo.
Ganon. And that's just the circle of life. Like what's happening now, there are new acts that I actually adore. They're very ambitious, which is awesome. They're pushing, the norm, and seeking regional success, international success, which is amazing.
Mm.
So it's just evolution. Um, Life, craft, art needs to
Mm-hmm.
evolve.
Di ba? And then, of course, with each amount of fame, it's gonna take its toll on you. It's gonna take its toll on the people around you, and then your bandmates. As diba, it's very obvious the band took a hiatus. What was the turning point? Like what led to that? Na parang, in as much as you can share, na parang at what point did you or the entire band decide na parang teka lang, this is not good for us anymore. Let's take a break.
Look, when you're young and you're making money, good money, great money, and you're famous, um, man, you get derailed.
Mm-hmm.
You get distracted, and we all did have those things, and we all got distracted. Um, and we got fragmented. Alam
Mm-hmm.
mo yun, ano kami, we found ourselves not on the same page, fragmented, kind of grew apart, or those um
Nagkaroon ng divide.
those um parts that connected us all of a sudden weren't there anymore. So we just found ourselves not on the same page, and
Mm.
it wasn't fun anymore. We the passion wasn't there, the from when we started,
Mm-hmm.
and so we took a break, um, and after 5 years, again, that adage that says you don't realize what you have until it's gone. Ganun yung nangyari.
Mm-hmm.
So and I think it was just a natural progression. It was
Mm-hmm.
meant. I think it was meant for us to, and it was good. It was a good break to really refocus on
What
our
matters?
priorities. Oh, ano talaga yung importante kung ano, or what do you really want in life? So back in 2015, we decided to get back, and it was amazing. Um, Kind of weird because each other. Actually, nakita ko pa nga si Sheldon, nag-training siya sa Banff eh. Tapos,
Oh, si Sheldon,
nakita ko pa siya.
doon kami nagkakilala ni Sheldon. Doon kami nagkakilala ni Sheldon. Di
Nagkita
ba? And then,
kami.
ano pa, pero hindi, before the reunion, so there was a hiatus, and then you ventured into your own project. So how was the process, or how was it like doing something that is uniquely yours? Na parang, di ba? Were you trying to sound like yourself, or were you doing things na parang okay, I want to make music or want to create something, pero I don't want it to sound like Hale. I
Yeah.
want it to sound like Sam, diba?
Okay, so what people don't know is my Philippines, they all have a disbandment. When we parted ways, automatically I had a meeting with EMI Philippines and said, "Hey, your contract, we have a disbandment clause in your contract, so you have to come up with an album." So back then, I used the time to really explore and focus on myself. Like what? Okay, like I've been greatly uh, identified with the band. So okay, since I'm starting from scratch, what can I do or what do I want to do? So I
Mm-hmm.
I came out with a solo collaboration album. It was very it was such an interesting project because it was my first time to really work with other artists and the only time I worked with other artists.
Mm-hmm.
The afternoon, I was with the band and that's it. Are just basically
Okay na,
art.
meron kayong disbandment clause.
Yeah, dude,
Hindi ko
lahat.
first time ko narinig yun, meron disbandment clause. So like so nag-disband na nga kayo, pero you have to produce one album? Tama ba?
Yung vocalist, the all the
Yung
band,
vocalist.
nagab dun. May
Okay.
disbandment clause din sila. So, back then, the roster of EMI was Bamboo, Sugar Free, Hale, Sandwich, Urban Dub, Slapshot. So, all of these bands have disbandment clauses. So, pag mag-disband yung banda, yung vocalist is required to come out with a
To
solo album.
create solo album. Okay. So more or less it was something that was available to you,
Yeah.
but at the same time it was also forced on you. Di ba? Ganun yung lumalabas, di ba? Ganun yung lumalabas
Oo
doon.
naman
Ganun yung
din.
lumalabas.
I
Oh.
promoted 2 singles. That's it. And then I later ventured into artist management because um, I just felt like it was different. Or I come from a family of businessmen, so parang a part of me wanted to satisfy or venture into that
Mm-hmm.
that area. And yun, so I tried doing events. I
Mm-hmm.
tried, I put up a label, an indie label, and then right before Hale got back, 12 Monkeys opened. So
Mm-hmm.
I tried three kinds of businesses back then, and ang dami
Mm-hmm.
kong nagawa in that span of 4.5
At a
years.
time. Diba? However, the itch to make music, the itch to make music, the itch to play in a band and express yourself in that way, diba, led to the reunion. Okay, so from the reunion, so now, diba, you all patched things up together, everyone got along. Now, after having that initial conversation, what happened that put you all into the process of okay, let's start gig doing gigs again. Let's start doing gigs again. Let's start doing an album again. Diba?
Okay, so I think we all realized during that hiatus that we love playing music together.
Mm-hmm.
And we're a montage of different personalities. Iba-iba kami ng ugali eh. And our common denominator is just really playing music.
Mhm.
Si Roll, iba trip niya. Si Shell, iba trip niya. Ako, iba trip ko. Iba-iba kami ng trip eh. But man, when we're on stage, like we just connect.
Mhm.
And sila Sheldon had their band. They were playing music during
Mhm.
Roll and Sheldon. They were doing music during parang when you have this bond, you have this bond, and
Mhm.
so when we decided to play music again, um, wala namang long term plan. It was just really to that I wrote during
Mhm.
the break. Let's try to release it.
Mhm.
Kung trip nyo. We came out with an EP to coincide with the comeback, and we the timing was perfect. John Uy of Wonderland messaged me if Hale could do a one night thing with Wonderland.
Mhm.
And sabi ko,
O yung
dude,
music festival ba 'to?
yeah, for the music
Okay.
festival for Wonderland. And I was like, bro, we're actually come back in a few months, so
Timing,
yung
yung
timing
timing.
ng tawag mo. So, and then Spotify uh, was back in 2015. They were heavily promoting here in the Philippines, and we did a project with them. So all these parts, happened in the perfect timing. So, and then later on, back to normal. We're 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 gigging regularly. We just finished a tour in Canada. We played in Dubai. We had a US tour a few years back. So it's been a very fruitful 5 years since 2015, since the comeback.
Mm, 'di ba? And ano yun eh, it was when you announced the comeback, parang a lot of people were the initial reaction, like a lot of people from the Hale generation was super happy, and then now the curiosity, there after yung nagkaroon ng rave eh. And then
Yeah.
that created curiosity to the younger generations na parang ano ba tong bandang to, di ba? And then you'll see kasi ako
Yeah,
kasi
I used
ako
to hear I used to hear this band from my older aunt,
oh, di
from my
ba? Diba? Kasi ganun yan eh. Parang when I was and when I was being syempre ako I'm just being really really observant eh. Napansin ko na parang the people from our generation they were like, "Oh my god, Hale's back." I was very happy that you guys reunited and you're playing, 'di ba? You're playing again, you're gigging again. And then I realized, okay, hopefully, like parang inisip ko lang din, when, pag nag-uusap nga kami ni Riz, I go like, sana ma-appreciate ng younger generation yung type of music that they did before. And then sabi niya, oo nga eh, kasi generation ko, generation niya, na-appreciate pa yon. So
Yeah.
transcend to, how is it gonna transcend to the younger generations? And then, we both just agreed na parang, I think, the love song formula always works and people love hugot songs kasi
Yeah.
like the ito yun the more upbeat songs medyo it takes time to simmer into new listeners eh pero nakikita ko lahat ng even in your Instagram stories eh lahat ng hugot songs pag pinakanta mo yung crowd lahat sila alam yung kanta. Diba? Sabi ko, marami talaga may hugot sa Pilipinas lalo na ngayon. So,
Alam mo, bro,
diba, it
that was something brought up by, because back in 2015 we signed up with Warner Music, so it's a different
mhm.
label. They were more focused on the digital side of music kasi tapos na yung
Uh-huh.
era ng download. This is the era of streaming, and that
Yeah.
when we signed up with them, they brought that up. Now, how do we reach out to a new audience, to a different generation?
Mhm.
And it's always been a balancing act because we didn't want to try too hard to.
Yeah.
Alam mo yun, that's just not who we are as artists. Na parang ang hirap eh kasi nga you know, 5 years is 5 years, and 2015, medyo iba na yung landscape ng music, and it's always evolving. It's always going to be evolving. So for us, we wanted to focus first on the craft, and then hopefully try out yung back then infancy stage parang live streaming, music stream, audio streaming from
Yeah.
Spotify, YouTube as well. Medyo infancy stage pa. So balancing act, but at the same time, I believe in the IQ, musical IQ of Filipinos.
Filipino.
We love music, so and we have deep and great appreciation for good original music. And I
That is
think
true.
as long as you focus on that, because later on people will realize it or understand the value of it. Maybe not immediately, but yun.
Diba? Pero then, how was gigging before to gigging now? Like, how were your gigs before compared to your gigs now?
New faces.
New face.
New faces. So para kami Chicago Bulls,
Mm,
merong comeback area,
uh,
comeback era rather. So ngayon it's ano sila ngayon. I just see them online with families, with kids. So now when we do gigs at 12, when people come up to me sabihin, I was in high school, I was in college, and
yo!
hindi pa sila pinapayagan lumabas. So now they can go out, they're allowed to go to bars. So it's a new phase. It's a new phase with new faces.
Exactly. Di ba? Ako, pag umattend ako ng gig, parang sabi ko, medyo tita yung itsura na, pero bata. Medyo okay yung mix ng audience ngayon, ha? And I love the fact that people are singing along. I think more than anything, I think that's why I appreciate going to gigs and going when bands perform live, kasi there's a different level of connection between the music and the crowd, and the energy when any band, diba, or any vocals will say, or encourage people to sing, and everyone starts singing, everyone starts shouting, diba?
We actually have some gigs in provinces. So we put everything on, when we're on stage. And minsan, when I look at the crowd and I'm like, shit, appreciate us, lalo na yung mga fiesta. And sometimes I'm just in awe, and I'm just really surprised how parang we've reached a certain demographic or a certain certain crowd na
area, a certain
ang
crowd.
galing, parang they know our songs, or hey, they're singing our songs, akala ko di nila alam yung kanta namin. It's nice. Those gigs are special for me kasi alam mo yun, ang galing na
Diba? Hindi mo akalain, maabot pala dun, diba?
true. And man, we play everywhere. We've played in Maguindanao, we've played in Basilan, we've played in places that I personally didn't know existed. So ang galing na parang meron pala ganito, or meron pala ganda pala dito, or saya pala ng crowd dito, sarap pala tumugtog dito.
And then there were like times that we were supposed to like hang out, and then magugulat, I'd sabi ba, bro, teka lang, may 3 gigs kami ngayon. I'm like, what? These guys are fucking working.
Di na kaya,
you guys were,
pare.
pero dati, when you guys were like working your asses off, it's like, I mean, when people think that, may gig ako, akala nila it's 1 gig. You guys were like doing 2 or 3. So these are some of the things that people don't really know.
But you know what? We've had a different mindset when 2019 started, because we kind of felt the toll on our bodies. Because we've been doing this for what 15 or 16 years now, and um, more than anything, we wanna preserve our bodies, and be strategic on how we go about gigs.
Mhm.
So yung 3 gigs that you mentioned before, man, we don't do that anymore.
Anymore.
Pace, pace, pacing is key, and just picking your spots, picking your fights. Yun na lang yung yun
Mm.
medyo iba na yung mindset rin namin. Moving forward in this new decade.
Mhm. That is good. I mean, longevity. It's the longevity game na
Yeah,
eh.
just we feel like we're just like any athlete na
Mhm.
medyo nasa veteran.
Twilight of the
Oh,
career.
veteran, or nasa peak ka na, or past your
Oo.
prime
Ano,
na
umu-OG na tayo eh.
you gotta take care of your
'Di ba?
body, or you gotta load management, parang ganun.
Di ba? And then speaking of gigs, 'di ba, you toured, you went to Canada, you went to the US. How is the reception, and how is the Pinoy crowd when you play there?
So, again, ang saya tumugtog sa abroad because they don't get to see artists that often. So
Oo.
when an artist from Manila arrives and holds a concert, it's a community thing. Everyone is going out, coming out, and celebrating. So Pinoy pride siya, man. We had an amazing time in Canada. It was really cold. It was our first time to do, an 11, 12 city tour during winter time. And
Winter, damn. Oh.
nakakapagod siya, but at the same time, ibang klase rin talaga yung Pilipino eh. Um, we had people who would travel from a different town or a different city just to see us kasi wala
Uh,
nang stop doon. So they would
long drive yun.
they would do a long drive to see us, book a hotel kasi
Uh-huh.
they don't want to be going home right after the show because it's a long trip and it's not safe. Kasi may nakasabay kami sa hotel eh.
Uh-huh.
The next day, sabi niya, bro, bumiyahe pa kami ng 4 hours just to see you. Nag-book din kami
Oh,
dito. So,
damn.
that's special. Um,
Mhm.
so, yung mga ganong instances, man, it's very gratifying.
Mhm. That, I mean, di ba? And I think it's one of those things when it comes to, that's when you see the community aspect of being a Filipino, when you're abroad and Filipinos band together, tapos they support whoever is coming in, and then I see a lot of stories like that as well. That's why it's so nice it's so nice and it's so good to be a Filipino. Diba? And then also 12 Monkeys came into fruition. What do you think, how was the impact of creating something like 12 Monkeys as a passion project for servicing OPM? Kasi for the longest time, when we talked about opening 12 Monkeys, sabi ko parang, oh nga no. Kasi ang dami nang hindi I mean, it's been a long time since something like that was created, di ba?
Yeah,
So, how was the thought process of like, sige guys, 12 monkeys kasi 12 partners.
yeah.
Mga 12 unggoy silang nag-decide na tara gawa tayo ng lugar para sa mga musikero, di ba? So, how did it came about, the gamble behind it, and then now, diba, from one location, then the transfer to another. Diba, it used to be in Makati, now it's in El Pueblo, in Ortigas. How was the reception, and why do you think it remains relevant? Because it's always packed. Diba? A lot of people go to it. People go to this place all the time. Diba? And why do you think that it's sustaining its momentum?
Okay, so in 2014, my good friend Neil Arce called me. Sabi niya, bro, there's this concept. There's this proposal I want to talk to you about. Parang it's a bar we're planning on doing na may bands daw. So originally the concept was to have a small stage, so parang sports bar slash music place.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I met up with Neil. Sabi niya kasama daw si Chito. I go, sige, I'll listen to it. Okay, game ako. Like, it's something I've never done before.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always open to, you know, something that I'll gain experience and knowledge from. Sabi
Mm-hmm.
ko, and apparently, yun nga, some of the partners are club owners. So I was very intrigued with the lineup. Tapos after
Mm-hmm.
several meetings, naging music hall. And then some of my club owner partners, like GP Reyes and si Keith Howe, they wanted to do a table reservation. Parang
Mm-hmm.
a concept.
Right concept.
Yeah, yung how it is in the club. They want to adopt it sa music hall.
Uh,
And at first, I was like, man, no one's doing that. Like, you just go there early, grab an empty table, and that's it. You just order one. So
that's
the
it.
whole idea of a hotline where you can reserve in advance a table
Mm-hmm.
and my table rates, that was unheard of. All these other
Yeah.
bars that were there or yung mga tinugtugan namin na ganun, wala, they never had that.
Mm.
And at first, I was kind of skeptical about it because I don't think the scene will
Mm.
be okay with this because it's a premium at the end of the day. And
Uh,
but man, sabi ko nga, it's nice to be around people. And I just trusted them back then because
mm-hmm.
they had a logical explanation why people would would dig or you're targeting a different market.
Uh,
But then again, it did work, and I originally I thought it wouldn't work, but I was skeptical. But then again, that I think we were the pioneers of that concept of you know,
yes, you were. You guys were. As
and
in,
now
now
all the
everyone's doing it.
everyone's doing that, and I think that's why it worked because if you didn't want to hassle yourself, and
Yeah.
it doesn't mean porte ayaw mong ma-hassle, hindi ka na rock and roll. Alam mo yun, it doesn't that doesn't mean. Uh, so your convenience is, sometimes people want to pay for convenience,
Yep.
and it worked. So, and at the same time, when we started, and I remember this perfectly. Na sabi ko, we need to get everyone. Like um, we can't discriminate genres. We're not gonna be that kind of place, or we're not gonna be a
Mm-hmm.
cliquish place.
Mm-hmm.
The whole spectrum. Every
Mm-hmm.
musician is welcome here. We will give an avenue to different kinds of musicians, genres or crowd or whatever. But definitely we will artists and we will
Mm-hmm.
be championing local music and entering our sixth year. um it's been just an amazing, probably one of the few things I'm really proud of is that I got into this industry without knowing shit, man. I don't know shit about food, bar, and wala, and I learned so much and nanganak siya eh. It kind of led to another thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm focusing on businesses now aside from music, and it all happened because 12 Monkeys put me in the map as an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm. And then speaking of entrepreneurship, and mostly what you're doing is, di ba, you're basically gambling yourself. You're taking a lot of risk. Kasi, and these are all calculated risks. These are well thought of risks. So in keeping in line with that attitude, di ba, another bold move na you did was, diba, from you ventured into businesses within the city, and then now you're doing something outside of the city. So, 'di ba? Bigla na lang, bro, I'm going to
Consulted ako na
Siargao.
pupunta.
Sabi ko,
And I owe you, man. I owe you and Reese a honeymoon there, or a staycation, whatever
yeah,
you want.
we're
As
gonna
long
we're gonna do that when we go to the island. Pero I'm like, sabi ko, Siargao. Sabi ko, like, that's a smart move. It's a smart move, diba? Smart move. And then Alpas came to fruition. Can you please? This is why that's why I wanted to ask this on this podcast, because I have never asked you in person. What the hell does Alpas mean? Go.
Okay, so 2000, when was that? 2017. I got a call from
17.
I got a call from my friend, Mark, from the village. We play basketball together. Sabi niya, bro, I'm working with Direct Paul on a film. It's called Siargao. We heard your song on the radio, your song Alon. We want to get it to be part of the soundtrack. So I was like, dude, game. Let's sit down. Let's talk about it. So we met up, got drunk a couple of times.
Mhm.
And then Paul messaged me, asked me for a favor. Sabi niya, dude, can we fly you to Siargao to shoot some promotional materials for the film?
Uh,
So, although wala kaming budget, pero sagot ko lahat. Like, treat it as a vacation. And,
okay.
um, sabi ko, walang problema as long as, the schedule permits, because that was October, if I'm not mistaken. And pag
Uh-huh.
nag-burn months na sa music, man, it gets really busy.
Marami na. Yep.
So, buti nakahanap ako ng weekend. So, I flew with my sister. She was basically my stylist, and libre bakasyon.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Man, they closed the tourist spots, and a lot of people were not happy with it. Kasi
Okay.
sunset at Cloud9 was closed, and because we were shooting for 3 hours.
Uh-huh.
Sugba Lagoon was closed, so
Hey, you pissed off a lot of people.
some stress there. Pero I met a local who was in charge of the production, and who eventually became my local partner there in El Pas. Sabi niya, "Oh, baka gusto mong bumili ng lupa dito kasi one of the actors in the film, si Jericho Rosales, recently bought land from
Okay.
her." Sabi ko,
Okay.
"Look, I've been here once, you know, 2 years ago, last year,
Uh-huh.
from that from that shoot." Sabi ko, "I'm not yet familiar. I'm not sure if I want to live here yet." So sabi ko,
Uh-huh.
if you let's try to put up a business. If you're open to, then we had dinner. I was asking her, ano bang okay na business dito? Um,
Uh-huh.
and then she said, bed and breakfast is a good idea, because a lot of people are coming in, and there aren't a lot of hostels, hotels,
Hostel.
bed and breakfasts available. So sabi ko, sige, magtito tayo. Or laundry. But later on,
Laundry service.
yeah, laundry service. Kasi maraming backpackers, and they just want to leave their stuff and come back for it after they surf.
Mm.
So, but later on, we decided to just push through with the hostel, and my brother and I, we've been going to La Union
Mm.
near the beach, kasi alam ko hindi ako
Ah,
mukhang may beach, alam puti-puti ko, but
pero
I love,
island boy po talaga siya. Island boy po siya.
my brother and I, we've been planning to live by the beach, or at least buy a beach house together. So we have a weekend place, or pag long weekends, we have, a place near the beach
To go.
where the whole family can be there, celebrate, whatever. So sabi ko sa brother ko, hey, you want to I met a local here, and there's an opportunity. Do you want to go? In your a good friend of mine, si Chokoy, in-offer ko rin. So we went back after the film was released. By the way, we won soundtrack of the year, so that's great. It did. It was a good omen, if you will. Tapos right after the Manila Film Festival.
Metro Pop,
After that,
Manila
Metro,
Film Festival.
yeah, after MMFF, we went back. Tapos yun, tumingin kami ng mga lupa, and man, no background in construction, no background in no background at all, man. Like, iniwan kami ng contractor namin while the structure was being built. And later on, my brother decided to just live there. So thankfully, I have my brother running the business there. But looking back, it's just life gives you opportunities, and the window to grab that opportunity, man, it's not hindi ganun katagal yung window to grab. So sometimes you just have to take a leap of faith. You trust your instincts, and sometimes you just you gotta be crazy enough, brave enough to venture into something that it's a big question mark. Pero the thing about Alpas is like our passion for nature, for the sea, was there. Everything else will follow because you gotta love what you're doing, and you gotta back that up with the discipline to learn, to execute, and that's what we're doing now. We've learned how to run properly an accommodation in.
Okay.
We're learning now the construction side of things, and for this 2020, bubulagin kita ulit. I don't want to reveal too much, but we have big plans, man. We're venturing into another project, but yeah, business has been good. I hope personally, since I have a kid now, I have a family. I want to lay down the foundation for my family, and this pandemic really is an eye opener for everyone that you know we need to have a deeper connection with nature. And
That is true. I agree.
And I think Alpas with that business that we have, we can do moving forward. That will be what we have in mind, to be more connected to nature. And bro, the whole time, this whole time during ECQ, I've been, well, my focus primarily has been to protect my family here. My parents are very susceptible, seniors sila eh. I have a newborn, so that's my priority, and our employees, to make sure they're taken care of.
Taken care of.
Yeah, which is, and business is gonna be difficult to jumpstart, but we're optimistic. But given the time, ang dami ko na-realize na moving forward, everyone needs to consider nature. Kasi, who said it? Helio? Gracie?
Helio.
Said every child needs to learn how to ride. Moving forward, there's one skill that every child needs to learn now, and that's how to plant. Because we've been too parang
dependent on machine production eh.
Yeah, bro, the big machine of life kind of nag-implode siya eh with the pandemic. It
Mm.
imploded. Now all of a sudden, your fancy phone, your fancy shoes, they don't matter right now.
They
Diba?
don't matter
None of these luxuries, these material things that were important, they're not that important right now. And maybe
anymore.
things will get back. I hope it does, but we can't neglect nature because um, as more people populate the world, sabi nga nung I've been watching a lot of documentaries, they're saying this isn't gonna be the last.
Yep, definitely. This is not.
Reality if we do not make that connection with nature. And I
Mm.
feel like we need to start educating the younger people now. Kasi nga,
Mm-hmm.
old dogs, uh, you know, it's kind of hard
We're,
to change the psyche. But the kids,
but
man,
on the, we're actually more practical. We're actually more practical. And yun nga, now it's all about disseminating the right kind of information so that these are the things that people will follow. Okay, so let's wrap this up, baby.
yep.
Where can people find you? What would plug everything, plug all the things that you're affiliate you want to promote. Okay, so Mr. Champ, let's go.
Okay, first I'm gonna say it's been a pleasure to be here, brother. I love you so much, and I wish you all the best with this podcast. You have so much to offer. You know,
This is
everyone
the
in this
one of
country.
many, one of many to,
Yes,
one of many to.
it's a privilege to be here. I want to invite everyone to like our page, my band's page. It's Hale Music on Facebook, Hale Official, Hale Music on
Oh,
Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Um, Check out Alpas Siargao on Instagram, IG, and Twitter. If you're into coffee, I have a coffee shop here in the South. It's called Bean and Yolk. Um,
yes, ang sarap sa bean and yolk. Masarap
and
doon, in fairness.
and you know what? It's one of the things that was highlighted because of this pandemic to stay healthy. How to
Mm-hmm.
boost the immune system, how to eat right. All these things, man. Nature, wellness. These are things that uh, will become part of the new reality. Magiging yung
Mm-hmm.
order of things mag-iiba. These are gonna be top priorities moving forward in this new reality that we will
Mm-hmm.
now be facing. So thank you, man, and I had so much fun. Naka 1 hour 30 minutes yata tayo.
Oo nga eh, paano yung pansin eh. Oo nga no, di ba? So, this is my crazy but amazing
Hey, you gotta promise me,
I understand.
Frank, if you're gonna go
Yeah.
to Rola Palooza, yung sa tournament,
Uh,
you're gonna stay
oh.
in El Pas.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. There's gonna be like a Siargao BJJ Open. Sige, when I get invited to fight there, I will stay in
Game.
El Pas for sure. Okay, so uh, guys, this is ang dami na pinag-usapan. I'll probably review this and like do my best to get like knowledge nuggets for this
And
from this
people need
episode to share.
and people need to know we go way back, and Frank and I, man, thick as blood, bro.
Uh, yeah, thick
Thick,
as
thick as
blood.
blood, bro. Thick as blood.
Okay. So, bro, thank you so much for doing this. I
I
appreciate it.
love you.
Okay.
Thank
I
you,
love
man.
you,
Keep
man.
safe.
And
Keep safe.
that, yep, that's what Coach Franco says. Bye bye. And
Coach Franco Says. We'd like to thank our partners for making this episode possible.
Knots and Crosses, the best quality gear for your jiu-jitsu training. Order your items on their Facebook and Instagram pages. Awon Coffee, for delicious locally sourced beans for your daily brew. Order yours now on their Facebook and Instagram pages. Spelled AWON Coffee. Gatorade, because nothing beats Gatorade. For the best DefTac Jiu-Jitsu training out there, check out the following chapters. DefTac Rockwell, DefTac Makati, and DefTech Better Living. Book your classes on their Facebook and Instagram pages. Read news about the local martial arts scene in the Philippines, visit Local MMA on Facebook, and listen to one of my favorite podcasts, Destroy MNL. Guess what, guys? I love providing value to my community and helping others get better. You can help me keep making podcast episodes, video tutorials, and sharing information about martial arts, food, and travel. You can support this channel through my PayPal account. Just click the link in the description box to donate. Thank you for your support, and I will keep making content that matters. So that's it. See you guys on the next episode. Thank you for listening.